Hello, everyone. We are the Rock Valley Critics, and welcome to our movie discussion show. Today we're going to be talking about Sully. We're going to start off with an overview of the movie, whether we recommend it or not, and then we're going to jump into a more detailed discussion about it, probably a little bit of spoiler-filled. If you haven't seen the movie or you just don't want to know anything about it, you can just bounce out before then. Otherwise, stick around, and then at the end, we're going to give our rating out of 5 stars.
We also have never talked about this before, so we don't know what the other one's going to say. It's going to be fun. We're going to fight.
Yeah, probably. Or, hey, maybe we'll have the same opinion for once.
I don't know. I don't think so.
So, I'm Nathan Talon.
And I'm Aaron Hill.
And let's talk about Sully. I feel like it was an interesting take on the whole Sullivan event, the landing on the Hudson. It definitely focuses more on what happened afterwards other than the actual landing itself, so that was interesting. It kind of caused one of my main problems with the movie, which is structural problems. Some cuts were really wonky. Other than that, you have decent performances from Tom Hanks, Aaron Eckhart, but there's a lot of kind of trash ones in comparison to them. But overall, it's an interesting movie, and if you're definitely interested in the landing on the Hudson or anything like that, I'd recommend checking it out.
It's only like an hour and a half, hour 40.
Yeah.
So it's a very watchable movie. You can do that. That's not wasting too much of your time. But it is a little bit slower paced, which was my real thing going away from it. Like, even the plane crash was kind of done in a little bit slower style, so it wasn't as intense as it maybe could have been. So if you're thinking that wouldn't appeal to you, maybe don't go see the movie.
We're going to jump into a more detailed discussion now.
Bye, half our followers.
Yeah, bye. We're going to just go over everything, like performances, stuff like that, editing. So, I mean, where do you want to start?
Like, the movie is a feel-good movie. Like, you leave the theater feeling good, and they do it subtly, and that's really, like, hard to do.
Yeah.
But it was, like, at some points, Aaron Eckhart's, or Eckhart,
Yeah,
I always thought it was Eckhart.
I don't know.
Some of his dialogue was a little campy for me.
I feel like that was a recurring thing for me, at least. Like, it was kind of like some of the lines were kind of beating you over the head with, we can come together as a nation and be happy about a certain event and stuff like that.
I didn't feel that way till the end.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, now everyone
This character
loves
this character that's been kind of riding Sully throughout the whole thing, like, doesn't know if he should have done this, just praises him at the end, and that's legit the end of the movie after that, so that was interesting.
I've heard people complain about the way the movie portrays those guys, the people like in charge of the investigation.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen the government be the bad guy? Why are we complaining about this now?
Yeah.
Also, for me, they just seem like people doing their job. The acting I didn't like
Okay, I was about to jump into this.
was Tom Hanks' wife.
Absolutely. What was wrong with that, dude? That was the most stone wall performance I've ever seen. And, like, you're married to Tom Hanks. Come on, try a little bit.
Well, here's where I think the issue went, was that because they never interacted on screen.
Yeah,
like,
only talking over phone.
All of her scenes was on a phone call with Tom Hanks, and I don't think they rehearsed together.
They probably never even seen each other.
Yeah, so, like, there were some things that it was like, I think Tom Hanks was trying to do a little bit more, like, subtly and controlled, and then she just came off as, like, too much.
Yeah.
And so it was like those interactions were a little awkward.
Another problem that I had with the performances were when it finally got to the scene, because the actual landing scene doesn't happen until like halfway through the movie. So when it actually gets to that scene, they kind of do some setup. They're trying to make you care about some of the passengers on the plane. What is happening? This is the biggest waste of time I've ever seen.
Very forced. They had to get the runtime.
Yeah.
Had the runtime.
I guarantee Sully is so happy with this movie. He gets Tom Hanks to play him. He's showed as like the best human being alive. He like even tips the bartender like $20, even though he was giving him a free drink. It's like,
and that was the other thing, was it was like you never doubted that he did the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, they never put that doubt in you, so it was like,
it was more like informational than like,
yeah,
oh, I'm on the edge of my seat.
you always knew what was happening. Like, you knew how it was going to end.
Yeah.
And that's something else I want to talk about, because that was my biggest issue with the movie, was that last scene.
Yes.
Because they like Sully talks his way out of like why their simulations are not accurate, and then he's like, now let's listen to the recording. And like then they just show the airplane landing again.
They show the airplane landing at least 3 times in the movie.
And the idea was that they were going to show it through different perspectives, but like
It's the exact same.
when, especially for the last one, it was just like longer, and then it like didn't give us any new information or any new perspective, and it was just like, it would have been much stronger storytelling to at least sometimes cut back to that conference room and have
Like the reactions.
and have people like listening to it and reacting to it. So that was the thing for me, that it was just like, it was kind of weak storytelling.
They like to do like this PTSD stuff. Some of it's cool for him. Like it's not really PTSD. It's more like he was scared for like the passengers, what he could have done for the passengers. So it shows like crashing into the city and stuff like that. But like sometimes it like would cut to the plane scene before we got like the full plane scene, and then it would just cut back to the real world. So it would give us like 5 minutes of him like talking in the cockpit or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then there's a scene. It's a pretty cool scene, like with him flying like the jets or whatever, and then it gets damaged, but he lands it, and then it's like a nice transition back to what he was looking at.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. The scene's completely unnecessary, but it's another jarring cut where it's just like, I feel like it could have been done better. And there's a couple throughout the movie, but like the way they structured it, and I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but the way they structured it, like how it was more focused on what happened after it, you eventually have to get back to the landing. So like they're kind of like giving you pieces until they gave you like the full thing. But I just feel like that could have got done better. How did you feel about the effects?
They're on a budget. I get it. They didn't look great. They looked like VeggieTales.
Yeah, like it looked cool, but like I also knew like that's a CGI plane. Like it wasn't something like, wow, did they actually get like plane footage and do something to it? No, it was completely CGI. You can tell 100%.
The audio work for the plane crashing scenes was very realistic and well done, and fit the vibe of like, because I feel like the focus was more like he took control and had control of the situation, and the sound really helped with that.
In the cockpit, it was like silent except for them talking, and then would cut to like the passengers, and then you have like the flight attendants. It's like chaos. Like the flight attendants are like, brace for impact, brace, and then they keep saying it throughout the whole thing. And then it just cuts to like Tom Hanks, and they're like super calm and collected, trying to get this thing done. I like that a lot.
But the strongest point of this movie was definitely Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Also, I felt like I like Aaron Eckhart a lot, and I thought he did it well. I definitely liked his back and forth with Sully, because I thought they were like buddy, but I guess that was their first flight that they ever.
Yeah, that was crazy to me.
Yeah, but now they're pretty much friends for life after that. So
You gotta be.
and you can tell that they were like all buddy. I thought their back and forth was pretty good, but yeah, what would you give it overall?
Overall, I'd give it 3 out of 5. I had a lot of issues with it, but overall, at the end of the day, I still enjoyed myself at the theater.
3.5 out of 5. I really liked it. I expected not too much. I expected to be bored, but I liked it a lot. I especially liked the landing scene. I guess we pretty much had similar thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a movie you should check out. It might get some buzz around awards season, but who knows? It's definitely a cool movie, a nice feel-good movie, and you'll definitely be happy you saw it, I think.
All right.
Thanks for watching our
Thank you
first
guys
episode.
for tuning in.
We're the Rock Valley Critics, and see you next time.